guys, how are you? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's Sam. I've been sick for a couple of weeks now. My voice is so raspy, so excuse my annoying vocals, but today I want to do a growth update. So many of my plants are growing and have just recently put up the most beautiful new leaves. You're gonna see a lot of stuff that you maybe haven't seen in quite a long time. We moved this past spring and my plants went through a lot of neglect and things like that. This summer, we have been really putting forth a lot of effort to bring these guys back to a happy place. And we are getting there. So I have tons of new beautiful leaves. Let's just get into it, and I'm excited to show you. So okay, the first plant I'm going to show you, Bendy is sleeping right here on my little rug right beside my feet. So I keep almost tripping over her. This you guys would not have seen probably since I unboxed it. This is Philodendron maximum. There's an unboxing on my channel. It's been quite a while now before we moved. And it's titled like unboxing the largest philodendron in the world or something. And this is it. And obviously it's not the largest philo in the world at the moment, but it grows to be, or can potentially grow to be, one of, if not the largest philodendron in the world in its natural habitat, and it can grow quite large indoors as well. Now you can see this one was doing some funky things for its first bit of time with me. It was pretty juvenile whenever I got it, but for some reason all of these older leaves have curled and the leaves are just going every which way. It looks quite funky. This was the last newest leaf and it looks a bit better. It was struggling with mites as well. That probably has contributed to his funk, but leaf came in pretty decent, pretty good size. And this is the newest leaf it's just given me. You can tell by how shiny it is. It's the biggest leaf on the plant and it's the healthiest leaf on the plant. Yeah, I just think it's so beautiful. I have it in this little thrifted ceramic pot. I don't know if it's intended to be a planter, but and it's in moss. And then I recently inserted this tree leaf trellis and I think it is so cute. He has some pretty good aerial roots going on, so I just kind of tried to attach the roots as best as I can because I really want to get larger leaves, but also for support. It just looks really adorable in this pot with his trellis. I keep catching myself checking out this new leaf. I can't stop looking at it. Is so pretty. It's such a pretty green, and then the veins almost like a gloriosum. Okay, so I want to be really careful because this is obviously a pendant Anthurium, and so it can be quite easy to get these guys caught on something and rip the leaves or the petioles. So I want to be really cautious with this guy. But oh, Bendy, I'm sorry, Bendy. She's right here under my feet. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get all of this guy in frame. So I've had this Anthurium Pallidiflorum for a couple of years. He is my baby. I am completely infatuated with pendant leaf plants. I hope to acquire some pendant type philodendron, but yeah, this is Philodendron Pallidiflorum. And you guys, I've grown all of these leaves in my care. See, they're all relatively good size, like they're pretty long, but this newest leaf has absolutely blown me away. So it's so crazy and difficult because the leaves are all going in different directions, but I'll definitely put some B-roll of this guy on the screen. But just look at this, like, that's a thumbnail right there. Just look at that. Just look at it. So yeah, with this plant, honestly, it's quite easy to grow. It's not super finicky. It doesn't really suffer a ton of damage from pest pressures. Honestly, it's just been a joy to grow. The leaves come out like all other Anthuriums, really small. You can see he has another one. He's about to be, does he? Is there another leaf in there? Yeah, there's another leaf right in here. So it'll push up out of this and it will kind of unfurl and be itty bitty, and then it'll grow longer and longer and longer. I think this leaf is finally officially done growing. Not only is this leaf the longest that I've gotten yet and the longest on the plant, but it's also filling out. I'm noticing it's like widening. Initially, in the beginning, the leaves were quite skinny and slim. There wasn't a lot of width to them. You can see this gorgeous white stripe down that goes down through the center of the foliage. It just really makes the plant pop, I think, along with its shape and length. Oh, my humidifier is shutting off. This newest leaf has a little bit of chunk to it, so it's filling out. It's not quite as skinny, and I'm just so happy. I cannot wait to see like where this plant is in, say, a year from now, how long we can get these leaves to grow. And I just have this hanging in a window in a little wicker boho hanging basket, and it loves it. So leaves can kind of just like hang down as they please. I will say, if you don't keep up with the watering, specifically whenever it's putting out a new leaf, that's when you will tend to get issues with the new leaf. Like it will get rips or tears or, crispy bits. But I mean, you can see most of these leaves are perfect, but I do tend to keep up with the watering on this plant, especially when I see a new leaf coming in. This one is just absolutely perfect. I love the size of it. It hasn't entirely hardened off yet, but I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. Look at that. Anthurium Pallidiflorum. This is my philodendron Fibrosum. Now this plant has had it rough. It has had to start over twice now, I believe. And this last time it had to completely start over. It was just a stick. I had it under the grow light. It's in moss. So this was the first leaf it gave me right after we moved in here, like a month or so after we moved in. That was the first leaf to open up. It's also definitely struggled with spider mites. You can for sure see some of the damage there. Yeah, so look how short and chubby this first initial leaf was. And then after that, we got this one, which is a good bit bigger. It's still small, but it's a good, decent size compared to the first one, and it looks pretty good. And now we have this new leaf, which again is just a little bit larger than the last. It's progressing beautifully. That's what we want to see. Just now opening up, you can see, sorry, my tripod. You can see it's kind of like that lime green with this subtle veination, beautiful heart shape. I really love this plant. So I'm thrilled that I was able to kind of save it and bring it back, get it back on track, because I have lost some plants, y'all, since the spring, since the move. During the move, right before the move, I lost a few of my plants. So I'm really thankful I could save this one and get it to grow back. We're starting to get some of the hair back again. You can see there's little tiny bits of, maybe you can see little tiny patches of hair here where the petiole meets the lobe of the plant, where it connects. And then here on this sheath, it's quite furry, and it does have another new leaf rolled up in there. If anyone was wondering about my philodendron Fibrosum, she's still alive. She's doing okay. I have to get a pole or something in here for her to climb and grab a hold of soon. She probably needs to be repotted, honestly. Like I said, I'm just really thankful I could save her. I just recorded this and it wasn't recording, so I gotta do it again. I want to do a little update on two of my favorite orchids. So this is a little variegated Phalaenopsis. It's a miniature Phalaenopsis orchid, and you can see it has this lovely yellow rim around the leaves, and then also it has this really cute purple rim around the newer leaves, rimming the yellow. I've also heard that a purple rim around Phalaenopsis orchids, variegated or not, can indicate that the orchid will have purple flowers. It's definitely true for mine. So this go around, this little orchid is only giving me 2 flowers. This is a brand new flower spike though. I need to remove this old one that's died. I don't mind. I just think they're so dainty and cute. The purple and white, like look how precious. And then we also have a new leaf coming in right here. Now, from what I understand, a lot of the times orchids they'll bloom, and then when they're done blooming, if they're happy, they'll give you a new leaf. And then after they put out the new leaf, they'll bloom and so forth. But this orchid, for whatever reason, is typically always doing both things at once. So usually whenever I see the bloom buds coming in on the spike and starting to open up, there will be a new little tiny leaf coming in at the center here at the same exact time. So here's a little update on this, one of my favorite orchids ever. And then my second favorite orchid, I'll go ahead and show you an update on her as well because she is also flowering. So this is my Psychopsis orchid. She goes by Psychopsis Mendenhall Hildos. And this orchid, unlike the Phalaenopsis, whereas the Phalaenopsis, the new growth comes from the crown of the plant, this orchid, all of the leaves come from their own little individual like bulbs or rhizomes. Each one has their own little bulb. It doesn't have a rhyme or reason for the growth pattern. It just kind of pops up any which way that it wants, wherever the leaf wants to come in at. So this is a relatively new leaf right here. I know there's another one. It could be this one. There was 2 new leaves that had recently came in as new as well. And you can see this orchid has the beautiful purplish red splotchy variegation. That's what really drew me to this orchid, was the color and pattern on the leaves. And it can definitely be much more intense than this. It's solely dependent on the amount of light that it gets. But I just think it is so beautiful alone without the flower. But what makes it even more beautiful and unique is the blooms. So this orchid typically only gives you 1 flower at a time, like 1 flower per flower spike. This orchid's often referred to as the butterfly orchid, and you can clearly see why. The flowers quite literally look like a butterfly. They're so beautiful with this bright, almost neon yellow and orange coloration. Just beautiful. Now this orchid has been blooming now for about a year, at least a year straight. I'm not kidding. So I had the orchid for about a year before it ever gave me any flowers. It was not in bloom when I got it. And I remember being so excited waiting to get my first bloom spike on it. And it took a while for this bloom spike to fully grow in. And then once it did, it just never stopped. So this flower will last anywhere between, the average I think is about 2 months on my plant. This flower will last. So they're really long lasting. 2 to 3 months this flower will be here, and then it'll just kind of randomly fall off. It'll start crisping up. It's a pretty quick process once it starts, and then it drops the orchid. And I'm not even kidding, within a week it has another bloom bud there. And then 2 to 3 weeks after that, that bloom bud opens up, and then again. So it's been continuously blooming for at least a year non-stop. A lot of people will tell you if your orchid is blooming like that non-stop, it's not good for it, and you need to maybe cut the spike off to give it a break, or so the plant can focus more on its foliage and roots and such. But honestly, this plant is still continuing to give me new foliage. So I haven't felt the need to cut the spike, cut the flower off. Maybe I will come winter. Maybe I'll go ahead and cut the flower spike and just kind of let the plant reserve its energy through the winter, and then potentially put off a new bloom spike this spring. I love this orchid. It's so unique and cool and rewarding. I love looking at this flower. It's just so funky. Both of those orchids are a favorite. Okay, I took a little break and we're back. I turned out this big grow light. I don't know if that helps or hurts things, but we're gonna roll with it. I have a couple of little miniature plants to give you guys an update on that you would have seen quite a long time ago. And the first one is this precious little baby ring of fire. It was a replacement because I had a large, beautiful ring of fire several years ago. I had it for several years, and then I got the urge to sell it out of nowhere, and I sold it, and I regretted it immediately. Pretty much straight away, I regretted it. And so I ended up getting a little baby starter plant because the ring of fires were quite expensive still at the time. Here we are. Like, I might have actually shown this in a recent video, actually. Here's a little update if I did. Yeah, I remember showing it now. So you would have seen this kind of recently, but it gave me, I believe, this leaf last, and then this is the brand new leaf, and it's pushing out another one. It is growing so incredibly fast now that it's gotten started, and it's like leveling up, maturing, sizing up really, really quickly compared to where we started. So look at that variegation. We're getting the rim around the leaf. I love how the variegation on the ring of fire, if you give it enough light, is pinkish orange in color. It's so nice. So yeah, here is a little update on this guy. We won't spend too much time, but this one I'm extremely proud of. This was another replacement plant. It's been about 5 years ago since I last had this plant, I feel like. My 3-year-old is having a meltdown in there. She's tired, she's cranky. Dad's in there trying to make things better, but if you hear her, she's fine. She just has some cranky bugs right now. This is Alocasia caprea red secret. So it's been 4 or 5 years ago I imported, and they were very expensive, which is why I imported a quite large Alocasia caprea red secret. I got this baby finally last year, I believe. It was just itty bitty yet again. There's a lot of my plants that I've gotten, like the Ring of Fire, for instance, that were starter plants from a shop on Etsy. They sell, rare or expensive plants in a very small size, like they're basically little plugs, for really inexpensive. And so a lot of these baby plants, that's where they came from. But you guys, so it put out this leaf. It was struggling a bit. It lost its previous leaves, obviously. It put out this leaf when we first moved. And then just as of late, it put off this leaf. Now you can definitely see a difference there. This older leaf doesn't really have the purple. It's just basically green. It's still cute. And it does have the ribbing, but it's just not as intense on this new leaf. The abs, really prominent. Purple and iridescence, really prominent. Beautiful. So that is a good sign. I am not seeing another new leaf yet, but hopefully we'll get there, because I love this plant. It is so, so pretty. So yeah, this is my second one. And look at this little purple ceramic planter. It suits this plant so well, doesn't it? So cute. While we are on the topic of baby plants, this is Begonia Milano-Bellato. Milano-Bellato, yeah. I don't know how many of you are going to remember it, but so I've been keeping it. I just put it in here like a month ago. And this little cactus dome I found at Ollie's. It's the cutest thing. So the pot and the dome came together. So cute. So we potted this past like winter, end of winter, beginning of spring. I repotted it because it was still in the little nursery pot and it had way outgrown it. And when I repotted it, I think I did it on a live stream. It immediately, like the next day, 2 days later, started crisping and dropping all of its leaves. It lost every single leaf. Did I put it in a Ziploc bag? I'm not sure if I did or didn't, but it grew back. I kept it and it started putting out more leaves and it was doing well. So then I took a risk about a month ago when I got this, because I know this plant, it doesn't require like an enclosed space, but it's going to do a lot better and grow a lot quicker if it has one. So I took the chance. I just lifted it up out of the pot it was in. I didn't mess with the roots at all. And I gently set it down in this little pot, stuck the dome on top, and oh my gosh, it loves it in there. It has bursted with growth. It had a couple of leaves when I put it in, but not a lot. And you can see maybe, you can tell which leaves are new. There is just an abundance of new little furry, moly leaves everywhere. Like that's 2 different leaves. There's a bunch of itty bitty little babies starting down here at the base of the pot. Just look, they're everywhere, absolutely everywhere. You can tell they're all brand new. So yeah, this plant is really cool. It's really interesting, and it's honestly easy begonia too. It looks like it would be really difficult to grow. It's really not. It does fine in just like my standard house humidity, but I wanted it to do more than fine, so that's why I stuck it in here. The only thing with this plant is you have to be really careful watering it. You cannot get the leaves wet. A lot of begonias are like that though. Same with this guy, but there's a little update on him. There's a new plant that I unboxed recently. I mean, I've had it now for a month and a half. I don't know how long, but yeah, it wasn't that long ago when I posted the unboxing video. So this is my philodendron SP Columbia. Look at that. I'm obsessed with that dark outline. Wow, it's pillowy, and then the two-toned green just makes the foliage really, really pop. I've been waiting ever so patiently for this plant to give me its first new leaf since it's been in my home, and lo and behold, it has. It has. And this plant lives out on a landing. So I see it, I go by it every day, multiple times a day, in a window. It's very happy in that window. And this is its first new leaf. It's so pretty. Yeah, not a ton else to say about it. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm really happy I haven't lost any of the old leaves. Now we officially have our first new leaf, and hopefully it'll start growing relatively quickly now that it's kind of got acclimated and got taken off. But pretty. So if you're wondering about this plant, it's doing great. I just kind of have it sitting here for the time being. I feel like there's so many plants that are growing and putting off leaves. It's really difficult to show all of them in one video. Like, it's really, really difficult. Okay, so another new plant. Was it the same video that I unboxed the SP Columbia? It may have been. I got this massive philodendron joebii for like $27. Yeah, anyways, it started growing right away. Let's see. So it's already given me 2 leaves just since I've had it, and it's working on a third. So this is the first initial leaf that it gave me, like a week or so after I unboxed it. It was really quick, maybe 2 weeks after I unboxed it. Really quick. Look how massive that is. It's huge. So that made me really happy. But then, boom, immediately after, it just unfurled this leaf a few days ago. Another new leaf. So it's doing well. It's keeping its size. Like, I was a little bit concerned. I'm always concerned that, because it would be normal if it did happen, that the new leaves on a plant that you get in the mail or bring into your home could be stunted or smaller than the previous leaves. These 2 leaves both, since I filmed that unboxing, it has given me, I am obsessed with this plant, let me just tell you. And I just have it setting. It's still in the pot it came in the moss, but I just have it sitting in this cute little planter that I picked up. It's really, really cute. I think they make a nice little combo. And then here's the growth point. It's going to push another one right out of that sucker anytime, probably. It's such a quick grower. I can't stop gushing over this plant. Let me just set it down. Anyways, I'm only going to show you a couple more. So this is my El Choco Red. If y'all remember, I had to start this plant over as well. This is one the spider mites just love. They love aeroids, philodendrons in general, but especially anything velvety. They love it. So I really have to stay on top of my treatments with this plant. With most of my plants, but especially this one, because it will cripple the plant if it gets bad enough. It will really mess up the leaves and cause it to start losing leaves, and we don't want that. I had to start this one over, and it was just a teeny little thing, and it's finally sizing up now, and I'm just like, thank you. I killed the first one that I had, which was really upsetting, but yeah, I love it. So this was like top wish list, one of my favorite philodendrons of all time, and it still is because it's just so gorgeous for so many years. So I'm just thrilled that I finally have it in my collection doing well. So it put off, this was its last new leaf before this one I'm about to show you. Pretty good size, beautiful, minimal mite damage. There's a little bit, but minimal. Beautiful red backs. And then it just recently, this one's a little bit older. You can see it's starting to harden off at this point. But I guess probably a couple of weeks ago, maybe by now, it unfurled this beautiful leaf. I just love how chubby they are. I love a good chubby heart-shaped leaf. And then the veins on this, it's like almost, looks like it would be almost glow in the dark. It's just fantastic. Fantastic. How could you not love this plant? So yeah, a couple weeks ago, this one unfurled. It finally seems to be acclimated as well. And I can just barely see a new leaf emerging. So she's pregnant. So hopefully that one will be even larger. This is another one. I will have to get something in here for him to climb, a moss pole, preferably, so we can size up even more and continue on this path. But I really honestly love the plant at this size. Like, I think it's just becoming so full. It looks really lush. I also really appreciate how compact the foliage is at the moment, but how it's also kind of like all around the pot. I just think this right here is so good. These leaves are just like touching so close together. It just looks really nice. So I'll do this one and then I'll show you my tie and then I'll end it for you guys. I know I just talked about this in a favorites video, but look, I think it's put out like 2 more leaves since I even filmed that. Look at it. Philodendron Florida Ghost is looking so spicy. Looking so sexy. Oh, you know what I mean? That is a gorgeous plant. All of the different colors in contrast with one another is everything. It's everything. The white, the mint, the green, all of it. Just look. You can definitely see where I have played around with the lighting with this plant to achieve this look. I wanted all different shades of white and green, and that's what I've got. So the higher the light, the whiter the leaf, and it's really fun to experiment around with. But I think you can easily tell this is the newest leaf right here. So beautiful. The size, really nice. This plant, I think, is really enjoying this moss pole. Well, it's not a moss pole. It's a pole with airwood soil in it. Really chunky airwood soil. Mostly made up of coconut husk, but there is some perlite and a little bit of bark and a little bit of organic soil matter as well. Now this guy, all the leaves are facing with that. He's on a pole, so what do you expect? But yeah, he is just so full, so bushy, so lush, fantastic, so colorful. Oh, I will never get tired of this plant. Never in my life. These are relatively fair priced these days. I'm seeing these for like 25, 30 bucks for like established plants. You can't beat it. And then the red petioles, like, come on now. Come on. Okay. I think that is that. Okay, here is my beautiful Thai constellation. He's really big. It's kind of difficult to see, but I just wanted to show you his newest leaf because he is quite a slow grower. I don't get a new leaf super often on this plant, but look at this guy. Really nice size. One of the lobes up here got a little messed up. I'm not sure what happened there, but the rest of the leaf is perfect. So, and look, he matches my little rug guy down here. But yeah, grew this guy from a tiny little baby, itty bitty little baby with no fenestrations. So I'm quite proud of him. He's a big boy. One of my trelling plants are just going crazy. My Marantas, my Cebu Blues, Stromanth. I mean, there's a lot, but I can't show you all my plants. So we'll take a peek at some of the others in upcoming videos, I'm sure. Now I have some chores to do. I got some new plants from this really cute plant shop. I'm going to be filming a video, like a tour in. It's a mile from my house. What? And they have the cutest pots, accessories. They have all different types of plants. They have everything. Accessories, amendments, everything you could imagine, they have it for plants. This is just one example of one of the plants that I got that I've been wanting for quite a while. Yep. And one of the pots, it looks like a honey pot. Look at that. A little purple and pink honey pot. So yeah, I've went 2 times, and both times I got plants and pots. So stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, I have much to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Let me know which plants in your collection are growing really well for you, despite it being fall now. Hope everyone is having a wonderful October. Happy spooky season. And I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye.